I'd like to show you how to fit Absolute Black Oval Road chainrings to a Shimano 110 BCD 4-arm crankset. In this case we're using a Dura crankset, although the same procedure is true for any modern Shimano crankset. The first thing we have to do is turn the crankset over and remove the 4 Torx T25 bolts. As you remove the last bolt, you can place the Shimano chainrings to one side. This will leave you with just the right-hand crank arm in this state. The next step is to take your Absolute Black Oval outer chainring and identify the machined mark along one of the long sides. This is to allow the chainring to locate neatly behind the crank arm. Take the crank arm and place it into the chainring and position it so that the machined recess is behind the crank arm itself. With the inner chainring, it's important to note the recessed bolt holes are on one side. Those recesses must face you as you insert the chainring onto the crank arm. Ensure that the timing mark is also behind the crank arm. Place the chainring onto the crank arm. Ensure that the timing mark is in line with the crank arm, and this ensures everything is in the right position and that your recesses are facing you so that the bolt heads will sit into these. Take the back of the rear side of the bolt and place it into the recess to locate the two chainrings together. Take the outer bolt, this was the one with the Torx head on it, and screw that into the rear of the bolt that you've just fitted. Once you've got one done up, it'll help hold everything together as you fit the remaining 3. It's important to note that we use double chainring bolts when we're fitting Absolute Black Oval Road chainrings. These are standard double chainring bolts. As you do up the final bolts, ensure that they are all tightened to between 5 and 7 Newton meters. Once you've done that, you have successfully fitted Absolute Black double oval chainrings to your Shimano 110 BCD 4-arm crankset. This is what it should look like. You can see the inner chainring, you can see the recessed bolt heads fitting flush with the back of the chainring, you can see that your timing marks are in the right place, like this, and you can see that the outer part of the chainring is in the right position with the recess behind the crank arm. You're now ready to ride.